Welcome to Live Daf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem, welcome back to today's Daf Yomi, which is Yevamos Daf Ches. We are holding 12 lines from the top of the Amid. We're trying to answer a kasha that we had. Why do we need a pasuk v'aleha, to disallow yibum by an erva? Isn't it obvious? Although yibum certainly is a mitzvah asay, but why would it override the Isra Arayis, which entail a lois say with kares? Asay can't do that. So why do we need a pasuk? Answers the Gemara. Viba is saying, here's another pshat, another answer to your kasha. If not for the pasuk, I would say yibum by an erva is meant to happen. Why? Asya be'kesha mid Rabbi Yehuda. We're going to apply the connection presented by Rabbi Yehuda. Da Rabbi Yehuda, v'tema, some say Rehuna, b'yed Yeshua, amakro. All our rayos are bundled together as one. When it comes to other halachas, kikol asher yasim mikol ta'ivas eilu v'nichrus. Hukshu kol, we find all the arayos bundled together as one group. The halacha that applies to one applies to all. And perhaps pertaining to the sugya of yibum, we can make a bundle as well. Connection as follows: Hukshu kol arayos kula le'eshas ach. We know that an eshas ach, brother's wife or brother's almana, falls to yibum, despite the fact that she's an erva. One may not marry a sister-in-law, but in this situation where she has no children, she's mutter, she's a yevama. Perhaps we're going to apply this concept to all other arayos as well. A daughter, a wife's sister, a chayisish, everything will have the same halach. Hukshu kol haroyas kulam leishasach, and we'll say ma ishasach sharia. Just like isra ishasach becomes mutter in a yibum scenario, af kol haroyas nami sharia, and the same will apply to all other arayos. And therefore, we need a pasuk to disallow it. Kasa Rachman allow to tell you no. Achayis isha is asur, bita is asur, even in a yibum circumstance. Why? Because the pasuk speaks about achayis isha, a wife's sister, has the word allow, which indicates that even in a yibum situation, there's no heter. There's no heter for achayis isha. Now, on one side of the coin, we have eishes ach, brother's wife, brother's widow, who's mutter in a yibum circumstance. On the other side, we have achayis isha, wife's sister. Allow, don't do it even with makam yibum. What about the other arayos? We have many more arayos. Who says that we should equate them to achayis isha, in which case they're usher in a yibum circumstance? Perhaps let's connect them to eishes ach, brother's wife, which allows yibum in a yibum circumstance. I understand there's a pasuk that disallows achayis isha from yibum. What about the rest of arayos? Michti kol arayos ikol akushinu leishasach. The other arayos can be compared to eishasach, in which case they are mutter in a yibum situation, just like eishasach is. Or we can equate them to achayis isha, wife's sister, in which case they're usher even in a yibum situation. Who says to prefer one over the other? My chazis, the akshas achayis isha. Who's to say that you meant to connect them to achayis isha and disallow yibum because of the error of circumstance? Akshinu la'ishas ach. Let's compare them to brother's wife, which allows yibum. One teretz would be lekula v'chumra. We have a choice of connection which leads to a kula, or connecting in a ifin that leads to a chumra. L'chumra makshinan, we connect in a chumra manner. That's a klal and shas, and therefore we have a choice connected to eisha zach and rimater yibum, connected to achayis isha, and forbid yibum we do the latter. Same another teretz. Let's think for a second. What's it more comparable to? Hachatre isri. Here, by a daughter, an aunt. You have a double isr. A daughter, and she's married to your brother, it's a sister-in-law. So it's two isurim wrapped together. V'chatre isuri. In the case of achayis isha, there as well you have two isurim. She's achayis isha, and she's also isha sach. So it's pretty close in nature. It's 2 and 2. So we connect them. We say just like achayis isha is usher in a yibum circumstance, likewise bitoy and achayis and the rest. Right? We learn 2 from 2. Aval hacha, but in the case of a simple Eishes Ach, that's all she is. She's nothing else than a brother's wife. It's only one potential Isser. Perhaps that's why it's Mutter Bayim. Chad Yisura. Utremi Chad Liyafinan. Who's to say that we should connect a case which has two Yisurim to a case that only has one? And therefore we can't draw any halachas from the typical Eishes Ach to another erva that has two Yisurim on top of her. So that's this first mahalach in the Gemara. Why do we need a pasuk to disallow yibam? In a erva circumstance, perhaps I would be mater all arayis by yibam, like a hekesh to Eishes Ach. That's why we need a pasuk to disallow it. Here comes another approach. Rava Amar, you got a kasha, right? Who's to even think that yibam would be allowed in a erva circumstance that has kares? You're right. You're 100% right. Rav Amar erva gufa lo tzricha kra. There's no need to have a pasuk to disallow yibam by an erva. The erva herself is exempted from yibam. Why? Because of your kasha. De'ein asay deiche lo yisasei sheish b'kares. There's no hava amina. The asay of yibam will push aside a lav that has kares. So what then do we need a pasuk for? Not for the erva, for the fellow wife, for the tzara, who's present in that same household with the erva. The brother dies, and they both fall yibam. Not only is the erva pater, but the tzara as well, as we learned back in that base. That's why I need a pasuk for the tzara, which is a new concept introduced to us right here. She's not typically an erva. She's just a brother's wife, nothing more. She's not his daughter. She's not Shimon, the surviving brother's daughter, his sister, nothing. Just a sister-in-law, which is a potential Yevamos. She's fine for Yibam. But since she's in the same household as the erva, right? Reuben was married to Rachel, who happens to be Shimon's daughter, and also to Leah, was a stranger to Shimon. So Rachel can't fall a Yibam to Shimon because she's an erva to Shimon. Aside from being his brother's wife, she's his daughter. That's out of the question. Asay cannot push aside. Let's just say with kares. The chiddush is for the tzara, the other wife, Leah, who is the second wife to Reuben. She's also asal yibam on Shimon. Ki itzur kol lemeisat tzara. The pasuk comes to disallow the tzara. If ever leitzich kra, really, the ever doesn't need a pasuk. V'ksvatanya ein liela he. Back in the Gimel, the Gemara had a brisa, which seemed to indicate that the erva needs a pasuk as well. Gemara says, well, the erva is asur because of the pasuk. What about the tzara? It sounds like the erva is also based on pasuk, not just on logic. Mishum tzara. You're right. The erva itself doesn't need a pasuk. Just the Gemara was going through the different steps. Well, the erva is asur. Now comes the tzara, but the ikar pasuk is for the tzara. But the brisa continues and says, "Ein li elahein." Now the other arayis, they're asur. And what about the tzara? So it sounds like the ervas themselves need a pasuk. Mishum tzara is saying it's just a language that we use to get into the tzoris, but really the erva itself is pasha, she's exempt from yibum. Tashma, we're going to have a raya, a kasha, on Rav. Rav who says an erva is obviously exempt without a pasuk. Listen to this price. So up until now we had the pasuk of lesikach, isha lachois lesikach, lesikach litzrar legalois ervasa aleh b'chaya. Back in Nafkimon base, this was the source to disallow yibum by an erva, or as the Gemara tells us, by the tzara, erva's pashat. Rabbi had a different approach, same result, the same idea, but from a different source. Rabbi Omer, v'lakach. He could have said v'lakach. Yevamos yavoi aleha. Right, when the brother passes away without children, so the yavam, yevamah, the yavam, her yavam, meaning the surviving brother, who's the potential yavam for this yavama, yavai should have a relation with her. L'kacha like the isha v'yibma, should take her in as a wife and do yibma. Could have just said v'lakach. Why v'lakcha? V'lakach would be enough. V'lakcha. It could have said v'yibem, v'yabem. Why would it say v'yabma, an extra lashon? It's a drasha. Come to tell you that only this one, not another one. Le'eser tzoris v'arayis. It's coming to disallow yibum by an erva and by a tzara. And soon the Gemara will tell us exactly how it works. But in any case, it's clear that you need a pasuk for the erva itself. That's not like Rava, who tells us erva gufal etzricha kra. An erva is obviously exempt and disallowed from Yibum. Ema, let's reword Rebbe. Lesser tzoris shall arise. The pasuk is telling you that the tzara of the erva is also. The erva itself, it's pasha that she's also. But trei kai kanasiv. What do you mean? He has two psukim, lakach and v'yibum. Sounds like one is for the erva, one is for the tzara. My love, should we not assume chad le'erva? One is to disallow the erva by Yibum, but chad le'tzara, to disallow the tzara. Loi, either v'either le'tzara, they're both for the tzara. Why two psukim? Chad, one pasuk, le'meisar, tzara b'makom mitzvah. One is telling you that in a mitzvah circumstance, meaning in a Yibum situation, the tzara is asr. V'chad, the other pasuk is, le'mishri tzara shalei b'makom mitzvah. To tell you that the whole concept of tzara only pertains to a Yibum situation. Meaning, let's say somebody's daughter is married to a stranger, and that stranger happens to have another wife as well. That other wife doesn't get affected by Reuven's daughter. So let's say that other wife ends up marrying Reuven's brother. There's nothing wrong with Reuven being miyavim that isha, just because she happened to be at one point in her lifetime in one household with Reuven's erva, with Reuven's daughter. Doesn't affect her. This is a yibum concept. But an erva falls liyibum together with another wife in the same household. That tzara gets affected or infected by the erva, and the entire household is disallowed from yibum, is rejected from yibum. That's why we need two psukim. One is, let's introduce the concept of tzara, but let's explain further. Tzara is only a yibum concept. My time, how do we see it from the pasuk? Because it says v'yibma, which tells us b'makam yibum huda asira tzara. In a yibum situation, then not only is the erva asr, but the tzara gets asr as well. She's affected by the erva. But if it's a non-yibum circumstance, shari tzara, just because she happened to be in the same household as an erva, there's no issa that jumps onto her for the future. So bottom line is, according to Rebbe, the source for issa tzara is from v'lokach and v'yavam. V'lokach is a miyat, only this one, not that one. This allow a tzara's erva from yibum, but only if she joined the erva in a yibum circumstance, meaning Reuven and Shimon, right? So Reuven passes away without children. He has Rachel and Leah. Rachel happens to be an erva on Shimon. She's Shimon's daughter. Not only is Rachel asr on Shimon because she's an erva, but the other woman as well, Leah, who fell together with Rachel li yibum to Shimon, she became affected by the erva. Once again, was speaking that she joined her in a yibum circumstance. Amar Vashi, I'm going to support Rava. Instead of asking, I'm going to bring him a raya. That what? That the erva itself is obviously potter from yibum without any psukim. Mas nisin nami teka. Take a close look at our first Mishnah back in that base. What does it say? Diktani chamesh esrei noshim. Those 15 arayas, poiter tzarasein. They disallow the tzaras. They spill over onto the tzara. What about them themselves? There's no need to discuss them because it's pasha they're asal yibum. Vilu pturais poiter diktani. It doesn't say they're potter number one and also the other tzara's potter. It doesn't say that. Shema mina, it's a raya because the erva itself is pasha that she's potter without any source whatsoever. Asks the Gemara why. Let's ask a kasha on Rav. Why is it that you maintain that the erva itself doesn't need a pasuk to disallow yibum? Well, because the enas say, because the esi of yibum doesn't have the power to punch away doicha. Loisa say sheish by karis. You can push aside the issa arayis, which is a loisa say with karis. Okay, I understand. If so, tzara nami loita by yikra, the tzara as well shouldn't need a pasuk. She's obviously forbidden from yibum. Mishum de enas say doicha loisa say sheish by karis. Because once the pasuk tells us, don't marry the wife's sister, and Litzra tells you not only herself, her tzara as well. Well, that indicates that the tzara is like a wife's sister, like a sister. She's an erva. She's an erva, and then she has a karis. She has a karis, and Yibum can negate that. So she's the same level as the erva herself. Of course, Yibum can't apply there. Why do you need a pasuk aleha to tell you that Yibum won't apply for the tzara? Of course not. She has karas. He answers like this. This is the answer said in the name of Rav. Answer to your kasha is as follows. You're right. You don't need a pasuk for the tzara, because once she assumes the status of erva, of course she can't have yibum. The pasuk is not coming for that. You know what the pasuk is coming for? To set the scenario, to present the context of the Isra, of the tzara. As we just explained earlier, the tzara is only affected if she falls yibum with the erva. It's a yibum concept. The pasuk is only coming to tell you lemishri tzara shleiba meka mitzvah. To tell you that if it's a non-mitzvah, non-yibum circumstance, there's no concept of tzara. That's all the pasuk is telling you. Of course, if she's in a yibum situation with the erva, of course she's in tzaras erva, she's asal yibum, she has karas, there's no pasuk for that. You don't need a pasuk for that, it's obvious. The pasuk is coming to you matter. It's coming to explain to you that tzara is a limited concept, it's a yibum concept. But shaloi b'malka mitzvah, of course it's mutter. If Rachel and Leah were married together to a stranger, Rachel happens to be this fellow's daughter. She doesn't affect Leah. If Leah somehow remarries and she marries this fellow's brother, she falls the she's mutter. My time. How do we see this in the pasuk? Allah. The pasuk is telling you that the concept of tzara is only when it's an Allah situation. Allah is yivama yavay Allah in a yibum circumstance. But malkam Allah dasir. But shalai b'malkam Allah ordinarily nothing to do with yibum. Sharia tzara doesn't get affected. Once we say that, perhaps here's a chiddush. Perhaps the erva herself can be mutter if it's in a non-mitzvah circumstance. Interesting suggestion. Maybe the pasuk is telling you, achos isha, don't marry your wife's sister if it's Allah in a yibum circumstance. If she happens to be married to your brother with whom you share a father. But otherwise, it's no issur. Just like you say by the tzara, it's a mitzvah related issur. It's a yibum related concept. Maybe sister-in-law as well is a yibum related concept. Interesting suggestion. Maybe the erva herself is only usher if it's in a makkah mitzvah, but if it's a non-mitzvah situation, she's mutter. No, you can't say that. Look, it's not logical. It's a kal v'chomer that it can't be. If she's usher in a yibum circumstance, meaning we negate yibum because she's an erva, can you suggest that if it's in a regular situation, no mitzvah involved, she's mutter? How can you say that? She's usher even when there's a mitzvah involved. So at the expense of mitzvah, she's usher. When there's no mitzvah, she's mutter. So he says to him, what do you mean? What do you mean? You just told me the same by the tzara. Tzara techiach. You can disprove what you just said from the tzara. There as well, we find this irony. To be makkah mitzvah asira, she's only usher in a mitzvah circumstance. Shalai be makkah mitzvah shari, but if it's a non-mitzvah circumstance, there's no concept of tzara. So maybe erva follows the same guidelines. Homer Lacy says to him, look, the pasuk says, Alecha makra. To address this very argument of yours, the pasuk adds, Bichaya, don't marry Isha alachaisa, right? Your wife's sister. Lo yisikach litzrar legalis ervasa aleha bichaya. Don't marry a wife's sister in your wife's lifetime. Kol shebichaya. Throughout her lifetime. Whether it's a yibum circumstance, an ordinary circumstance, she is asr. There you go. That's the answer to your question. So the erva is a blanket isr, regardless of the circumstance. But tzara is limited to mitzvah circumstances. She joined her in a yibum circumstance, then she becomes affected. But the erva itself, that's universal. That's always. Because of bichayah. Asks the Gemara, Hi bichayeho. That word bichayeho is not extra. It's coming to tell you something else. It's coming to tell you that after his wife passes away, you can marry your sister. So it's not available to tell us your chiddush. No, that has another pasuk. One should marry his wife and that sister while his wife is alive. But after death, he can marry his sister. So bichayeho is available to tell you the other halacha. What do you mean? If only from that pasuk, that wouldn't supply the goods. Perhaps I would say, Nisgar Shesharya, when she's still his Isha, when he's still married to Rachel, he can't marry Leah, her sister. But once he divorces Rachel, he can marry Leah. She's no longer Isha. Isha means through marriage. She's no longer his Isha. Perhaps he can marry the sister. That's why I need the pasuk Tamleim B'chayah, which tells you, no, as long as it's within Rachel's lifetime, you can't marry Leah. Kol B'chayah. It's going to tell you, even if she got divorced, the Avagav Dinisgar Shala, even if Rachel's divorced, you can't marry Leah. So B'chayah is coming to tell us it's very important halacha, and unavailable to tell us the other halacha. Let's go back to the kasha. Perhaps just like the tzara is a Yibum-related concept, the erva herself is only a Yibum-related concept. So one may not marry his erva if she falls to him Yibum, but otherwise she's mutter. Ella Amar Rav Huna bar Tachlifa Mishmei Rava. Listen to this teretz. Pay closer attention to the pasuk. Terei kroi ksiv. We have two elements of that pasuk. What does the pasuk say again? V'isha el achoisa loisikach litzroira. Litzroira means the erva and the tzara. Legalois ervasa aleh b'chayeh. Only the erva is asa. Which one is it? Both or one? Litzroira indicates both, the erva and the other wife. And ervasa means only the erva herself. We seem to have some sort of conflict in the pasuk. Ksiv isha lachoisa loisikach litzroira, which indicates the erva and the joint wife, the other fellow wife, is asa. Uksiv legalis ervasa, only the erva herself is asa. The chadamash, only one. Okay, then how do you work this out? How do you figure out the pasuk, which on the one hand says the erva and the tzara asur? On the other hand, it says only the erva is asa. Oh, it depends on the circumstance, whether it's a mitzvah circumstance or not. If it's a yibum situation, both are asur, the erva and the tzara. Because as we said, tzara is a yibum-related identity, and is asur at that point. But shaloi b'makom mitzvah, if it's a non-mitzvah situation, he asura, the erva is always asur. One may not marry his daughter, his mother, his aunt, his wife's sister, but tzarasa muteris. But the other wife happens to be together in the same household as your erva is muter, because it's a non-mitzvah, non-yibum situation. Perhaps I'll switch things around. I'll say, you know what? B'makom mitzvah, he asura, tzarasa muteris. Isn't it logical to say that mitzvah allows for more to accommodate the mitzvah? So if it's in a yibum situation, maybe the erva is asa, but the tzara is mutter. If it's a conventional situation, ordinary situation, non-mitzvah scenario, then they're both asa. Right? Isn't it logical that mitzvah allows for more? So I understand we have two psukim. One is litzra, the isha and the erva. The erva and the tzara. And the galos arvasa says only the erva. But perhaps it's different than the way you present it. Perhaps in a mitzvah situation, the erva is asa, but the tzara is mut. In a non-mitzvah situation, the erva and the tzara are both asa. You can't let yemer allow. Then you don't need to allow for that. That's logic, plain logic. Of course, the mitzvah allows for more. So why does the pasuk have to say allow? B'makom mitzvah. Coming to tell you a chiddush. Coming to tell you the opposite of what you thought. Allow is makom mitzvah, right? Yevamos yavo allow. This double isra for erva and tzara is strictly in a mitzvah situation, because tzara is a mitzvah concept. She was together with her as they fell yibum. She joined the same household as they fell yibum. So they're both affected. But in a non-aleho situation, in a non-yibum scenario, the erva is always us. Erva is an erva. Whether married to a brother or to a stranger, doesn't matter. But tzara is not affected. One more kasha. How do you know that the aleho is coming to create an isser, to tell you that in a makam yibum, right? The erva is aser. The tzara is aser, because the makam mitzvah tzara is aser. Dilma lehetera, perhaps work the other way around. Allah has actually come to you matter or something. Listen to this. Torah means as follows: don't marry wife and sister. Litzrar, which means both of them are asr. Lo yehi v'lo tzarasa. So the erva is asr, right? Wife's sister is asr, and even the wife's sister's tzara is asr. Shaloi b'makom aleh, right? Even if it's a non-mitzvah situation, just like the erva is asr, the erva's tzara is asr. You can never marry your wife's sister or any other wife that was involved with that sister in the same household as that sister. In a non-mitzvah setting, married to a stranger with somebody else. But if it's an aleh situation, meaning, if they felt you liyibum, you're both married to your brother, so Shimon's departed, his brother left behind. Rachel and Leah, Rachel being Shimon's erva, and Leah being a tsar of that erva. Shtei mutaris, maybe they're both mutar. It's a makkah mitzvah. How do you know Leah is coming to be restrictive and tell you, even in a mitzvah situation, it's certain extent to the tzara, etc., as we said earlier. No, maybe the other way around. Let's come to your matter or something. Don't marry a rayis. Don't marry tzaras of a rayis. If it's a leah, then the isurim fall off. They're both mutter. Says the Gemara, what do you mean? Keep in mind, this pasuk had a double mashmois. Remember, there was the lashon litzra, which indicated that the erva and the tzara is asr, a double isser, and we had the singular lashon, the galus arvasa. Only one of them was asr. Which one is it? Is it a single isser or is it a double isser? So the Gemara concluded from the situation. In a yibum situation, they're both us, the erva and the tzara, who joined her in this yibum nefila. That's litzra, both. It's a double isser. If it's a non-yibum situation, the erva is asr, but not the tzara. Tzara is unaffected if it's unrelated to yibum. So the single isser applies when it's non-yibum entity. The double isser applies in a yibum situation. So what are you suggesting now? You have a kash. Perhaps the Torah is trying to be mater, not trying to add Yisur, trying to be mater arayis because of Yibum. So in the case of Yibum, they're both mutter. Because Allah is coming to tell you, in the case of Yevamos, they're both mutter to accommodate the Yibum. When it's a non-Yibum situation, they're both Asr. The Isha, the Achaisa, right? And then Litzra, sister-in-law and Itzar. So what about that? Singular lashon. What about the single isser? When are you going to apply that? We're left with an extra drush. In kein legalis arvasa, dechada hechameshkachsla. How are you going to apply the drasha based on the words legalis arvasa alea, which is a single isser? One woman is asr, only one, not the other. When does that happen? Iba makam mitzvah. If there's a mitzvah involved, yibum involved, shtei mutaris. You just suggest to me everything is mutter. No Isser whatsoever. Zero. Isha makam mitzvah. It's a non-mitzvah setting. Shtei nasuras, they're both asur. So it's either all or nothing. According to your suggestion, it's all or nothing. I'm left hanging with the drasha. That's unapplied. It doesn't make sense, right? So evidently our approach is correct. The double Isser for the erva and the tzara applies in a yibum setting. That's what the pasuk Allah is coming to tell you. In a yibum setting, they're asr. But in a non-yibum setting, if it's not allowed, just a typical situation where a man has two women. One is my erva, the other one isn't. That other isha doesn't get affected by the erva. Because in a non-mitzvah yibum setting, there's no concept of tzaris erva. So bottom line is we have sort of three elements in that pasuk. We have litzver, which tells you both nashim are asr. That's in a mitzvah yibum setting. We have the galish ervasa. Only she is a single isser. Only the erva. That's in a non-mitzvah setting. Only the erva is asr. And that's what we need Allah to tell you. we're speaking about it in a mitzvah setting. B'makam yibum. Which you would think is perhaps counter logic. In makam mitzvah, there's more isra. Yeah, that's why the pasuk Allah is coming to stress this whole isra is b'makam yibum. In makam yibum, the erva and the tzara are asr. But in non-yibum situation, only the erva is asr, the tzara is mutter. Gufa, let's go back to Rebbe, who came up with the same halacha, came to the same conclusion from a different approach, from a different angle, from a different pasuk. Rebbe Emme v'lokach v'lokcha v'yabam v'yibma, coming to tell you less of tzaras v'arois, coming to add the tzaras to the isra. Asks the Gemara, how does he see it from these psukim? Midi tzaras ksiva hacha. Where do we find tzara in the pasuk? V'lokach v'yabma. Talking about the Yevamos herself. V'oid. You're looking for the isra of tzaras? Milatzrar nafka. You have the other pasuk of isha lachos l'sikach litzrar. Why can't Rebbe use that pasuk? Answer is, he uses that for something else. Litzrar. Rebbe Reb Shimon tells us that it goes to Reb Shimon's halacha. Rashi brings it from Daf Ches, that I was speaking where Reuven and Shimon were married to, Reuven was married to Rachel, Shimon was married to Leah, so two brothers to two sisters, they both passed away at the same time. Both sisters fall to Levi, the Yavam. Now he's stuck because he faces a dilemma here. If he marries one Yavam, he can't marry the other, right? Because they're sisters. So Reb Shimon says they're both potter. He learns from Litzrar, when the two sisters introduce themselves, the Yibum, in a tzara state. They're both sort of competing Yevamis. So there's no Yibum on either one. Okay, we're going to see that Be'ez Hashem back later on the Chavches. So Litzrar is applied to that halach. Okay, that answers that question. The first question was, in the words of V'lakcha of Yibma, where we have any indication of tzaris? Tzara hachaksiv? Or tzara hechaksiva? Where do we find tzaris? Yachakam, listen close. This is the pasuk. This is the drush. Im kain, because otherwise, lema krova lakach. Should say v'lakach. Marry the Yevama. My v'lakcha. Why does the pasuk stress there's a choice? Sort of, you're faced with a choice. This Yevama, that Yevama, let me take this one. The Torah is telling you that Yibum only applies when you have a choice. We're speaking when you have two Yevamis, and it's up to you. It's your prerogative. It's your decision. The boy Nasif Hai, if he wishes, he can marry Rachel. The boy, if he wishes, Nasif Hai can be Yavam Leah. Shari, then they're both mutter. Basically, it's a standard, conventional situation of Yibum. Reuven passes away, leaving over two Yevamis, Rachel and Leah. No erva involved. Two women, plain Nashim. Shimon the Yavam. That's a choice. Yibum is applied to the entire household, meaning you have one Isha, and that addresses everybody. So you have a choice. Rachel, Idi decides he takes Rachel. But if he doesn't have that choice, why? Because one of those Nashim happens to be his daughter, happens to be his sister, his aunt. So there's an erva involved in the bias in the household of Yibum. Then not only is the Yavam exempt, the Yevama exempted, but the tzara as well. Tarvai v'loy tarvai asir, both asir. So the pasuk is telling you that when you are faced with two potential Yevamis and you have an open choice of which one to be Miyavam, then you can choose whichever one you want. But if you have no choice, it's not up to you because one of them is disallowed from Yibum, then they're both off limits. That's the first part of the drasha. And it could have said V'yibam. It says V'yibma. It's coming to stress to us. Coming to set the bedrock, the basis for this halacha. What are we speaking about? The tzara is always asur? No, only in a Yibam situation. Because tzara is a Yibam concept. A joint household, a joint Yibam household with an erva. B'makam Yibam. V'yibam b'makam Yibam with asir tzara. This is a tzara is only a Yibam related concept. Shalai b'makam Yibam, if it's not a Yibam related situation. Shari tzara is always mutter. And this is Rebbe's makar for the concept of Isat tzara b'makam Yibam. Okay, v'rabbanon, what do they do with these psukim? Rebbe's psukim. Hai v'lakchem ayavdilei, mi'boilu, they need it for the following halacha. Look to Rabbi Yisrael v'chanina. Damar Yisrael v'chanina. What do we learn from v'lakcha? Malamed shemegar shebeget. The Yevama is now his wife. So although typically you don't marry a sister-in-law, but in the case of a Yibam, The Torah mandates it. It becomes his wife, and don't think it's just a one-time thing. He can be megarisha with a get as well. Once she's his wife, you go through regular, ordinary procedures. Get, whatever works by regular Isha works by the Yevama. Umachzira, and even if after he divorces, he can remarry her. Like an regular Isha, don't think, well, it's a one-time deal, it's a one-time shot. Once he's megarisha, it's over, she reverts to being the Isser of sister-in-law. No, she remains his Yevama, and he can remarry her. That comes from Velakha. It's a regular Lekuchen, a regular Isha. Right? Like it says, Ish kikach ish isha, right? The Lashon Lekuchen applies to regular Isha. From the word V'yivama you learn, al karcha, even against her will, it's a unique halacha by Yibam. The Rabbi who already used this plukim for the Issa Tzora, the Rabbi Yisrael Chanina, has he know those halachas? Mele Isha, nafka. So the karcha like the Isha, she's a regular Isha, with all the halachas of the Isha. Can use a get if he needs to, can remarry if he wants. What about al karcha? How do you know against her will? Miyivama yava yaleh nafka. The extra words yava yaleh indicate even bal karcha. Okay, let's do a brief chazar of today's daf. We start with the kasha. Why is it that we need a pasuk to disallow yibum by an erva? Isn't obvious to us? Isn't that pasuk because an erva has a karis and a mitzvah yibum is only an asay? How can an asay do away with asay? We have two basic approaches. One is, yes, perhaps we have a reason to think that a erva is also mutal yibum because we're going to compare it to Eshes Ach, the concept of a sister-in-law, which is mutal yibum, perhaps all the other rights as well, and therefore we need a pasuk to disallow. Then we have Rabbi. Rabbi says, you know what? A pasuk for erva? You don't need. Of course she's asal yibum. It's karis. The pasuk is only for the tzara. And is learned from Litzra. Rebbe, that was Rabbi. Rebbe says that the Isser for Tzara is learned from a different pasuk. As we explained. The Gemara went through all the psukim here. The Gemara concluded like this: that in the pasuk of Isha lachoisa lesikach Litzra legalois ervasa ale b'chaya, we see everything that we're looking for. Because you see, the word Litzra indicates it's a double Isser. Erva is Asr, Tzara is Asr. The Galas Erva sound like we're speaking about one person. So which one is it? One or both? Aleh is the key to the solution here. Aleh means b'makam mitzvah. Yevama yave aleh. This concept of Issa Tzara is only in a b'makam mitzvah. But Erva is universal. Even in a non-mitzvah situation, Erva is Asr as well. We want to analyze Rebbe's drasha, v'lokach v'lokcha v'yabam v'yibma. We came to the same conclusion. V'yibma tells you, Velakha tells you, if you're faced with two potential Yevamos and you have a choice of marrying either one, then you can take either one. But if you have no choice, i.e. one of them is Asr, she's an Erva, then both are off limits. Not only the Erva but the Tzara as well. But that's only when it's in a Yibum setting. This concept of a Tzara being affected by an Erva is because she joined her in a Yibum setting. She fell together in a bias echad of Yibum. It's a Yibum concept. If part of the bias, one of the household, is prevented from doing Yibum, the entire household is affected as well. And that's what we learned from where? V'yibma. This is a Yibum related concept. We concluded with the concept of a Yevama really reverting to a status of a regular wife, regarding get, regarding remarrying. And we learned the halacha of Yevama, Yevaleh, Bal Karcha. And these halachas that are essentially agreed upon by all, just depends on where you learn it. All the best to you and much, much hatzlacha.